Men, we need you to start acting like men. We need you to not listen to culture. Fuck culture. Fuck what culture tells you to do as a man. Fuck if culture tells you that a true man is showing his genitals to children. Fuck that. That's not a true man. Fuck if culture tells you that being a true man means acting, dressing up like a teenage girl and prancing around a house in order to get views on Instagram. That is not a man living in his true manhood. It's not. Don't believe the lies. I think what it is, it's about digging deeper into your true masculine self. And this is the key word. Dig in is the key word. In other words, you can't escape it, just like you can't escape yourself. Try it.
Welcome to the Derelict Podcast. For the disparaged, depleted, and delinquent souls trying to find our way, we're talking about the scary part of the journey, where we don't know how it'll end. Let's be free to face our fucking failures in real time as the most unadulterated, truest version of who we are. No sugarcoating. Welcome to the shit show, you derelict.
Ever just want to get away from it all? What does that look like for you? Does it look like heading to the beach, mountains, or cabin in the woods? How about traveling to a different city, state, or even country? Maybe going to a spa with your phone turned off, playing a sport with no electronics, got lost on a trail, lock yourself in a room with no electronics. For me, that often looks like travel. But have you ever noticed that if you get away, whatever that means to you, you still can't get away from yourself, your thoughts, your morals, your beliefs, even your head trash? Well, to be honest with you, I've been struggling for a few weeks now in my head. I've been disgusted and dismayed by the display of manhood around the world. More on that in a second, which would explain the new background. And the last several days, I felt isolated in huge crowds of people everywhere, and still somehow I feel isolated, like I can't get away from it. So I decided I needed to talk about it. So here I am. I've been traveling for about a month now. It started with a 2-week road trip with my kids. We went from where I live in Southwest Washington all the way down to Southern Oregon to Northern California, visited a few national parks, amazing trip. And then after that, I took a week and went with my buddy to Spain. We visited Madrid, Valencia, Ibiza, and it's now being capped off with a week in Barcelona, where I am right now. And these are the beautiful photos in the Airbnb that I'm staying in. And I'm nearing the end of this travel and headed home here in a couple days. I go home for a couple weeks and then I have more travel. Why am I saying any of that? Well, because why in the midst of chaos? I shouldn't say chaos, but why in the midst of all this traveling where I'm trying to relax, I'm trying to have a good time, etc., would I take a break and come over here and record? Well, as I said, I'm currently in Barcelona, wrapping up a month of travel. It is true as many places that I visited are true. It's an amazing city. I love the culture. I love the people. I love everything about this country so far. It's been an amazing few weeks here. I've really adored my time here, to be honest with you. When I originally booked the trip, I considered stopping by Paris at the end to catch the opening ceremonies or an Olympic event or two. The Olympics have always been on my bucket list. For those of you not geographically familiar, Barcelona is only about 8 hours away from Paris, or a couple-hour flight. And I've watched the Olympics ever since I was a little kid. It's amazing to me to watch the most disciplined, talented, ferocious men and women in the world give everything they have to be the absolute best at their field. Honestly, no matter what the subject is, I love watching people like that, whether it's in business or it's in sports or it's in entertainment, whatever it is. Somebody that is that devoted to doing the best they possibly can is awe-inspiring to me. Isn't it to you? Now, they give everything. If you watch any information about what these Olympians do to try to get to where they go, and most of them don't make it, obviously, but they give up everything in order to try to pursue their dream. It's amazing. It's inspiring. I love seeing it. Absolutely love seeing it. And I've looked up specifically to the men as a man myself in the Olympics for their discipline, again, their intensity, their willingness not to give up, just all of it. When you're watching this happened a little bit ago now, but the 2024 Paris Olympics just started and their opening ceremony was the other day. Now, there are many things about this opening ceremony that were great, and there was a few that caused quite a few ruffled feathers, in case you didn't notice. So before the comments, let me just give a quick preface. I never intended this podcast to be political or religious at all when I started it. In fact, it was only supposed to be about the failures we face, specifically as men, what to do about those, and how to grow deeper in our true masculinity. And that's still true. So why bring up the Olympics? Well, there's a lot of comments and controversy right now revolving around the opening ceremony. Specifically, there was a moment, which I will show here in a moment, with some sort of musical number and then depiction of the Last Supper. So go ahead here and take a look. Now let's look at a couple things here. Number one, the obvious one, is the man in the middle, who is dressed up to be a Greek god, nude except for maybe a small underwear or something that he's wearing over his genitals. Next, you will notice right behind him this woman, this obese woman who apparently is supposed to be Jesus. There are transvestites on there as well. And you will also notice on the left, the man in black, his testicle is showing from underneath his shorts with children present. Now, people are calling this many different things. Some are calling it overly gay, inappropriate, artistic, lovely, satanic, anti-Christian, on and on and on. There's a lot of different things going on about this right now. But if we're here together to learn about true masculinity, and how to grow in that in the healthiest, most life-giving way possible, I'm not going to make a bunch of comments about the opening ceremony. I'm only going to ask one question, maybe another one, but one main question. When you watch that clip, was the Olympic opening ceremony, that clip you just watched, or if you're listening to this, go watch a clip of it real quick and then come back and do this again, okay? Was that clip filled with men living out their true, authentic, masculine identity, or was it something else? I guess I'll ask another question. When you look at the men, and don't be fooled to call them anything other than man, most of the people in there were men. I think I only saw one woman in the clip, unless I missed another one. When you look at the men on stage, were those men that you would want to emulate and follow? Are those men that you want your sons, friends, dads, other men that you know, do you want them to emulate them? Would you follow those men into battle, into war, or culture war? Or, let's just bring it back to the Olympics. Are those men who look like they're going to win an Olympic gold medal in anything? Would you respect and trust those men to watch your little children when you're out of town? Would you want real life advice from those men? Would you like career advice from them? Would you like spiritual, life-giving, moral advice from them? Do you want to be in the relationships that they're in? Do you believe those men are filled with wisdom and understanding beyond their years? What do you think? Now, let's pause for a second. It seems to be asking a lot to answer those questions from men that neither you or I know. Maybe there is somebody watching this or listening to this right now that knows those men. I highly doubt it. Most of us probably don't know those men in real life. So I don't want to just make a personal judgment on how they appear. I get that. So I'm not asking you to judge them just based on this display of, honestly, whatever that was. I don't even know what it was. So let's ask another question. Many people have related the opening ceremony that you just watched to the painting of the Last Supper, where Jesus and his disciples had one last special meal together before he was murdered without cause. Now, whether you are Christian or religious or not at all is immaterial. Bear with me here. Jesus and his disciples, whether you believe everything they said or not, are well-documented individuals that lived out their beliefs and helped others. Most of them were Jewish, and most of those Jewish men came from a culture that it was extremely important to help others, love others, They dealt with sick people, poor people, the outcasts of society, derelicts even. So if you're sitting here and you call yourself a derelict, these are the men who were there for you, who loved you, who supported you, who loved you more than just letting you do whatever the hell you wanted to do, but actually came to you. They fed you with actual food. They helped your physical ailments. This is what these men are known for. So if you relate to being a derelict, they were there to help you. You know what is interesting? If you read anything about them, the only people that they seem to hate the most or dislike the most or not respect or whatever else the most were the people that were involved with the institutions, the churches, the governments that were trying to keep others down, that were trying to keep the derelicts down, that were trying to keep the abandoned outcasts of society down. Those are the only people that they despised. All right, so what about these people in the Olympics opening ceremony? Have they contributed anything to society? Now, I don't know, because I don't know who they are. I don't know. I tried to look up information about them, and basically all I could find is that there were some drag queens, a transgender model or two, a naked singer dressed up as a Greek god was pretty obvious, and a man showing his testicles next to a child. That's all I know about them. Just based on that, are those men that you want to follow? Do you want that man showing his testicle to your son? Do you want that man dressed up in body paint, doing whatever he was doing next to your child? Is that what you want? Is that what you would consider good advice, good emulation, somebody for your child to emulate? Now, don't get me wrong. I love entertainment. I'm not a prude in any stretch of the imagination. I actually kind of wore this shirt on purpose to show you. I love this shirt. It's pink, it's purple, it has flowers on it. I have lovely artistic visions of a woman behind me. I'm all about that. The last time I went to Vegas, my girlfriend and I went to go see the show Thunder from Down Under, which is a bunch of guys in very little clothing doing dances. And it was amazing. It was fun. It was a lot of, again, I'm not a prude. I'm not against entertainment for entertainment's sake. I'm not saying anything about being gay or putting on a good show. I'm all for that. I'm not homophobic. I have several gay friends, love them dearly. And I'm not going to be here to call them hurtful words or say that they shouldn't exist, which a lot of people are doing on social media right now. And I think that's really sad because it's missing the point. The point is not how these men choose to live their life. Whether you are gay or straight or fill in the blank, this has nothing to do with your sexuality. This has to do with, are you living out your true masculinity? Are you living out how you were designed and born as a man? Your true manhood, your true masculinity. Now, I don't know about you, but I never listen to anybody yelling at me and telling me how I'm wrong about anything. So, let me ask you a question again. Are these men that you want to emulate? Are these men that you want people that you love and respect to emulate? Are these men you want to be examples to your sons? If your son is growing older and you want them to have wise, knowledgeable counsel from older men, would you pick these men? Would you? Are these men living out their true masculinity? I know it's a lot to ask just based on a little clip, but if you think that these men are living out their true masculinity and showing the world what true masculinity looks like, the strong, courageous, clear, confident, compassionate individual characteristics of a man, feel free to leave a comment below. Shoot me an email. Let me know. Because I don't think you can, because you got nothing to prove that. I'd love to hear your perspective. But to be clear, here's my belief. Men like this, all around the world right now, are giving masculinity a bad name and are a cancer in our world. Men that do not live their true manhood are not living out their true, authentic, masculine selves. So here's the question. Are you doing that? Am I doing that? I've had a lot of failures doing this. One of the biggest failures that I've had, honestly, is being weak and not speaking out about it and not being courageous to stand up to whatever bullshit the society is saying, and actually just being honest about what I believe true manhood looks like. We've spoken a lot about manhood and toxic masculinity the last few episodes. Go listen to them or go watch them if you haven't already. Please. I hope you do. And previously I told you I don't think toxic masculinity exists, but I think I might have changed my mind recently. And here's the reason why. I think if we want to use the word toxic masculinity, usually it gets thrown around for guys that are like really powerful and have really powerful voices, and then they supposedly are chauvinistic and all these other things, which maybe they are, maybe they're not. There's definitely men like that out there. Don't get me wrong. I think that a lot of men that are called toxic masculine, it's not true. What about the other side of toxic masculinity? Maybe it does exist. Maybe it exists with men dressing up as women, dressing up as little boys or teenage girls. It exists with men who commit genocide around the world. There are many men doing that right now. And for whatever reason, based on what country you're in, you support some of them and don't support the other ones. How about this? Stop supporting genocide, no matter where it's happening. I don't give a fuck what country it is. Stop supporting it. And stop virtue signaling. Please, for the love of God, if you're one of the people on here that gets online and virtue signals about whatever side you want to be on of whatever genocide is happening, stop it. Let's just stop the genocides. Toxic masculinity also exists around the world with men who abandon their familial duties. They abandon women. They don't take care of them. They abandon raising families. They abandon their own children, and they let their children do whatever they want, and they don't show them how to be a man. They've gotten rid of raising this next generation right. It exists in men unwilling to stand up for true masculinity, which has been me. I just told you. I am not speaking here saying all of you guys are doing something wrong. I am too. I have been weak in the past. I have not spoken up for my beliefs in the past, for whatever reason, whether it be political correctness, politeness, etc. That ends. I think you can feel a shift in this podcast because I'm tired of not speaking out about this stuff. Toxic masculinity exists with weak, ballless simps. It exists with men blaming the other party, politics, person, gender, whoever. It exists with men living in constant victimhood over and over and over again. It exists everywhere. I hope to God that you're watching or listening to this podcast because you are not one of those men and you're not associated with those men. What I hope is that you and I can rise up together and become stronger, more courageous, more loving, compassionate, clear, amazing men that this world so desperately needs. Now, let me be clear here though. There are amazing men out there. There are amazing men who are living out their true masculinity. Men who are giving men a good name. There's plenty of them. Men who are courageous and clear and kind and compassionate and resilient and strong, courteous, loving, the list goes on. There are those men that exist. My feeling is that you are one of them, which is why you're watching this or listening to this, or you want to become even more of one. I believe I am, but I believe I have a long way to go. I have a lot of work I need to do, but I'm trying. I'm trying to be that man. I want to be a man that people look at and they watch this or listen to this podcast and they say, that is clear, that is courageous, that is kind, that is compassionate. That is somebody who's living out their authentic masculinity. That's what I hope. We need these men more than ever. Listen to me now, please. Men, we need you to start acting like men. We need you to not listen to culture. Fuck culture. Fuck what culture tells you to do as a man. Fuck if culture tells you that a true man is showing his genitals to children. Fuck that. That's not a true man. Fuck if culture tells you that being a true man means acting, dressing up like a teenage girl and prancing around a house in order to get views on Instagram. That is not a man living in his true manhood. It's not. Don't believe the lies. So, with the remainder of our time, is this another episode about toxic masculinity? No, not really. I think what it is, it's about digging deeper into your true masculine self. And this is the key word. Dig in is the key word. In other words, You can't escape it, just like you can't escape yourself. Try it. Like I said, fly to Spain, like me, and you'll see that you can't escape yourself. You take yourself wherever you go, just like I did. My own head can be the most connected, freeing, loving, authentic place in the world, and it can also be the scariest. And these past few weeks, it's been scary. I've let head trash just get in here. And honestly, I'm not usually one for current events, for what's happening in the culture, etc., but I can't not speak about it at this point. I've seen two extreme examples of toxic masculinity just in the last couple weeks. One, a man decided he disagreed with another man and tried to murder a former president of the United States. Again, politics aside, I don't give a shit if you're Republican, Democrat, or other. That is the most disrespectful, heinous act I could possibly think of. Debate. Let your opinions be known. Try to change laws. Don't just shoot somebody because they disagree with you. There have been wars now forever with men committing genocide. Evil, toxic masculinity, if we're going to call it that. What else? Men putting on a show that is completely inappropriate and heinous to children. Those are all examples of toxic masculinity. So let's not just box in that term. Let's just agree that if you are committing genocide or you are sexually perverting young children, or if you are trying to murder somebody else because of the fact that they have different beliefs from you, can we all just agree that that is not true men living in their true manhood? It's not. Again, disagree with me. Write a comment, shoot me an email. You can't. You want to know why you can't? Because it's true. And you know it's true. If you feel deep down into your heart, your gut, you know that what I'm saying is true. And sometimes what I found is the more I want to get away from it all, the more difficult it is to do. You want to know why? Because it's my brain and body way of telling me, I need you to deal with something. Don't run. You can do this. But guess what? I get scared. I let fear and anxiety lead the way. Sometimes the last place I want to be is in my scary head. And usually if I don't deal with that scary place, nothing else matters. But you can't escape yourself. Do you relate? Do you relate? Where you get to a point where you're like, I just need to get away, but you can't get away from your thoughts. But oh, how we try. Distractions galore. Drugs, alcohol, sex, shopping, vacation, social media, overeating, blaming somebody else, being a victim, you name it. I can use just about anything. I'm a master of distracting myself from things I have to deal with. But what are we really trying to distract ourselves from? For me, I think right now, it's from our true calling as men. Maybe it's living as a true man in a society who doesn't believe in manhood anymore. Maybe it's living a life that will require courage, sacrifice, and selfless love. Maybe it's standing up to culture that tells us to eliminate our manhood. Now, as you can see, I'm not the person that's going to be on here bare-chested, showing you how buff I am because I work out 6 hours a day. I don't. Showing only manly colors. I'm literally surrounded by beautiful art of this woman that got screen printed multiple times wearing a pink and purple shirt. So manhood is not driving a big truck and acting like an asshole. That's not what we're saying here. But our culture is telling us to eliminate our manhood right now. Don't listen to it. Metaphorically and physically, we actually live in a world today that encourages us not to be masculine and literally chop off our penis. And they're saying that that's the way that men are supposed to live. Anyone else would look at that and say that's insane. But for me, it looks like this. Let's talk a little bit about me trying to escape myself. It starts with discomfort. Discomfort leads to an uncomfortable emotion. That uncomfortable emotion leads to a choice. And that choice is usually a split-second choice from me. Am I going to make a healthy or unhealthy decision here? Am I going to engage in something that's healthy for me or unhealthy for me? If I do a healthy activity, I break the cycle. I'm no longer on it. I'm no longer on this circle. If I choose an unhealthy activity, it then leads to shame, which then leads to discomfort. And that starts the whole cycle over again. Discomfort, uncomfortable emotion, choice, unhealthy activity, shame, discomfort, unhealthy, uncomfortable emotion, choice, unhealthy activity, shame, discomfort, and so on, so on, so on, so on, so forth. So here's my encouragement to you. Find out what your healthy activities are. First, let's define a healthy activity as something that helps you live out your true, authentic, amazing, masculine self. Don't let other people tell you that just because you're a man and because you're masculine, that's wrong. It's not. It's how you were born. It's how you were made to be. Or feminine, if you're listening to this and you're a woman. Now, again, go back and listen to previous episodes. Just because you're a man doesn't mean you only have masculine traits. Just because you're a woman doesn't mean you only have feminine traits. Men, usually, the majority of them have mainly masculine traits, women mainly feminine, and then you have some of the other, okay? So, here's some examples for me. I think this could apply to men or women, but I'm not a woman, so I can't speak to you. But this is what's helped me. Here's a few healthy activities I do when I get to this choice. I'm like, well, where am I going to go? Am I going to try to break the cycle, or am I going to keep going? Connect with a positive influence, a mentor, a friend, someone who helps me live out my truly authentic masculine self. This can be coffee, a phone call, a dinner. I prefer something in person. If I can't do something in person, I prefer to see their face, maybe a FaceTime call or something. If I can't do either of those, then maybe a text or a voice text or an email or something else will work. If you need someone to connect with, leave a comment below or shoot me an email right now. All of my socials, my emails are listed in the show notes. Take me up on this, please. I have men who call me every single week to check in. They don't pay me to do this. They just want to check in. Why do I do it? Because I get a lot of value out of it. Sometimes I think I get more value out of it than they do. So call me. Please become one of them. Become one of the people that checks in with me. Or if you're a woman, I'm happy to connect with you as well. All are welcome. I don't give a shit if we don't agree on politics, religion, manhood, gender, sexuality, or anything else. Give me a call. I'm a great listener, and I'm an even better bullshit detector if you need it. All right, so here's a few other examples that help me stay healthy, or healthy activities. Taking a walk, going on a hike, getting in nature, getting lost in the woods, working out, filling my mind with positive messaging, writing, journaling, reading a positive, uplifting book. And for writing, just putting the pen on the pad. Don't think that you have to be a writer for it to be therapeutic. You could just write down whatever you're thinking about. Now, I wish I could sit here and tell you I always chose the healthy option, but I don't. More than I'd like to admit, honestly. But if I didn't, would you listen to me? Are you listening to people that don't admit mistakes? Are you listening to people that will not admit that they're going through failure when they're going through failure? Do you listen to people that only talk about their accomplishments and just get mad at everyone else that doesn't agree with them? Is that who you want to be? Is that who you want the men or the boys in your life to grow up to be? Is that who we as men are called to be? So, we come back to the question we've been asking a lot lately. What makes a true man? And more importantly for today, how do we live in our manhood when all we want to do is to escape? Why do more men not stand up for their beliefs? Why do more men not stand up for being men? Why do so many people convince us that being a man is... And again, just to be clear here, this is not an episode about sexuality. This is not an episode about gender. This is not an episode about being heterosexual, homosexual. About being, what it's about is about being true men, no matter what any of those other things apply to you. Use whatever term you want. Are you living out your masculinity? Especially when you want to escape it all, which is so appealing sometimes, don't you think? So here's the deal. I don't have some magic answer or bullet as far as what manhood looks like. I think sometimes it's easier to see what manhood is not. Manhood is not oppressing people. It is not murdering people. It is not committing genocide. It is not sexually perverting children. It is not joking about these things. It's not abusing people that have less power than you. Being a man is being courageous, kind, compassionate, loving, a lot of other things. So if you're a man listening to this, will you stand up with me to true manhood? Will you tell your friends about this podcast? Please subscribe to the podcast, like the episode, whether you're on Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you are. Like it, share it with somebody. Share these last several episodes about manhood with your friend that's a man, with your husband, with your brother, your dad, your son, whoever. We need men to start stepping up. We need nerdy men to step up. We need strong men to step up. We need jokester men to step up. We need professional men to stand up. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you like wearing pink shirts or you think that that's stupid. I don't care. If you are a man and you're going to live out that courageous manhood in your life, please join us. Please join us. We need men to stand up right now in a world where the world has lost masculinity, has lost what manhood can bring to the table. Men have brought forth amazing things throughout history by living out their manhood, by living out their masculinity. The times that that's not happened is when men have not lived out that true masculinity and they've taken advantage of people. They've been weak. They've been quiet. They have chosen not to speak up about things. Please join me. Please be one of the ones that says something. And don't say it. Please don't be these guys on social media right now that are just calling everybody dirty names and saying the other side. I hope you didn't get that from this podcast. That's not the intent here. The intent is don't just, turn it into calling somebody else some bad name. That's not helpful either. Be a man. Be a man. I'll put a couple resources in the show notes. If you want more, please like, subscribe, and reach out to me. I'll give you more. I'll give you as many manhood articles, books, etc. that you like. Go to our website as well. We have a running tally of them that I started a little bit ago. Please listen up, and please, let's rise together as men. Thank you, Derelicts. Thank you for being here. Love you all. Have a great day.